I am an art teacher that teaches a lot of portrait drawing, and this is our pre-activity. Using black crayons, my 11-year-old students are practicing facial features before our big project. First, I let my 11-year-old students draw their eyes, noses, and lips how they usually do. Then together as a group, we walk through the realistic shape of each. For our eyes, we start off with lemons and then slowly perfect the shape to be a little different. Up at the sides, and then add an iris and a bit of an eyelid. We then place our pupil in the middle of the iris. We add a bit more to the eyelid, and then have a discussion about light gleams shining onto our eyes, and add those to our drawings. This also leads us into discussions about why eyes have their lines of color, and why certain eyes are shaped the way they are. We then take our black crayons and use it for all of our shading details. Starting in the middle of the eye, we work on the iris first. We create our light gleams, and then our jaggedy little marks for the texture inside of our irises. Using the black crayon, we shade and leave some parts of the iris unshaded. This helps it look like the light gleams are glowing. We then continue to outline our eye shape with the black crayon. The reason I like using black crayon for this is because the students, like Sharpies, are forced to just keep working, even if they make a little mistake. And then also, it shades, which a Sharpie does not. We then talk about eyelashes, connecting up long triangles, and avoiding the stick figure eyelash. We then shade the eyelid. This is a quick 15-minute activity. Next, we talk about noses. I show my students two different ways to draw a nose. One by creating commas and a little triangle button. From there, we work on the shading of the nostrils and the side of the nose. A nose is mostly shaded, so there shouldn't be too many harsh lines when we're drawing a nose. So this is a lot of shading practice, especially with a black crayon. The second way I show them to draw a nose is with one that is not so turned up. Once again, we start with nostril shapes first. Then the basic outline of the side of the nostrils. Leading up the nose. Then we take the black crayon and do our shading. We only practice drawing these noses for a quick 5 minutes because when it comes to their actual photograph, all their noses are going to be so different. This is just good practice with side shading. And last, we talk about mouths and how my students usually draw mouths. Now when we're drawing, we talk about if students don't want to create fully outlined lips, they at least need to shade in a little of the top lip and a little of the bottom. Then with the black crayon, their mouth can be really subtle. If they would like to fully draw their lips, we start with the middle line and the top lip first. We draw the Cupid's bow, then we connect and make the bottom lip. When it comes to shading a mouth, we make sure most of the shading is where the mouth parts. The top lip should be a shade darker than the bottom, and then we shade on the two sides of the mouth to make it look like it is curving forward and not so flat. This is great practice for our actual project.